Hello everybody, and welcome back to the Boys Comic Book Review. Here the story progresses a little bit. Starlight and Hughie and Frenchie and the female further their relationships a bit. Hughie kills the same person for a second time, weird, and we learn a tidbit more about the relationship between Vought and Butcher. This section is called Good for the Soul, Part 2. And here we go. We see the female watching a suburban home in the fall and stalking a man who looks like a stereotypical mobster dressed in a tracksuit. She has in her possession a photo of the man with his address written on the back, suggesting that she was hired by somebody to possibly assassinate this guy. The man is heading out of the house, away from his bitch wife and with his 2 small children, and heading to the zoo. The kids look excited, and the female looks a bit shocked to see that he has children. Back to Hughie and Starlight at the park. Hughie, the sly hillbilly, refers to Starlight as hen, and she gets a kick out of it, and it puts a cute as hell smile on her face. Starlight tells Hughie her problems with her job not being what she thought it would be, and how that is leading her to doubt her faith in the Almighty. And she tells him how her colleagues despise her. She blames God for the good and bad things that come to her. Whatever makes you sleep at night. But she realizes that her succumbing to sucking off 3 dudes at the same time was because of her own ambitions, and that it was all her fault. Hughie, with the most impeccable timing, grows some balls and asks Starlight if she wants to get a drink with him later, and Starlight happily agrees. And Hughie is rather proud of himself. We turn back to the boys at their headquarters and witness Butcher and MM watching a meeting of the 7 at their headquarters. They must have bugged them. Homelander is telling the team how to act during the vice presidential visit, and the visit is concerning Supes being involved within national defense. Hughie is alone and parked outside the Teenage Kicks place, listening in on them and gathering surveillance with help from the bugs they planted earlier. He is surprised to hear them talking about the resurrection and comeback of Blarney Cock, who was the Supe that Hughie killed by punching a fist-sized hole through his stomach in the street fight earlier in the story. We see Frenchie meeting with some mobsters in a stereotypical Italian restaurant, questioning them on where they sent the female and kindly requesting that they never contact her again. The mobsters do not oblige, and the ever-confident Frenchie takes action by smashing 2 of their fucking heads together. Look at this guy, and the blank lottie-dottie expression on his face. It's just like another Tuesday or something to him. This scares the ever-loving shit out of their leader, and back to that later. We turn to Hughie and Starlight on their first date, having a drink at a bar. Hughie's mind is a little preoccupied with knowing that Blarney Cock is back. Hughie and Starlight seem to be hitting it off. Starlight comments on how she likes his accent. She advises that she never touched a drop of alcohol before, and now she is smashed. She asks him to come home with her, and that she wants him. But Hughie does the nice guy thing and respectfully declines, and not when she is in this state of mind. Then, of course, Hughie immediately has second thoughts. We turn back to the mobster the female was stalking earlier, leaving his home and his nagging wife in the middle of the night. The female is there and is about to run up on his car, and we see Frenchie in the background, who diverts the female's attention and charismatically convinces her not to go through with it. Now we move forward with the next comic, Good for the Soul, Part 3. We see MM visiting a home and calling out for Mama, but not seeing anybody before we head out to see Hughie in the surveillance van, listening in on the Teenage Kicks, asking what to do about Blarney Cock coming back from the dead and only having about 3% brain function. They question on reaching out to the 7 to ask how to handle the situation, being that they have experience with Lamplighter. We see that Blarney is hiding underneath Hughie's surveillance van. We turn to Starlight at the 7's headquarters with a short run-in with Maeve, slurping a martini and advising how she was supposed to give her shit about missing the meeting about the VP coming. Maeve blowing it off and acting very standoffish. Then Starlight sees and hears Homelander talking to the staff about how the VP's speech and meeting with the 7 is being canceled, and it is at least partially because the president found out. Homelander and the man discuss who could have told the president's people and how he could have found out. Next up, we see Hughie and Starlight meeting in the park at night. Starlight is embarrassed and apologizes about how she was acting the other night and how she drank too much. Hughie tries to cheer her up. Starlight refers to Hughie as nice and their relationship as something precious. Aww. Something different than the cruel world. She asks Hughie to promise her that he will never hurt her. They end up back at Hughie's looking at a hamster that Hughie saved from Blarney Cock's interior after punching a hole through him. Then Hughie scores.
He shoots, he scores!
and they sleep together. We turn to MM and Butcher in a cab. MM has the cabbie pull over so he can puke. He has a flashback of saving a woman from tumbling over a bridge. MM talks about how after being in that house that he left a bit ago, he feels like shit and is disgusted. They decide to go to Hughie's place. Butcher meets Hughie at the door and witnesses Hughie's face covered in blood. Butcher tells him to take his time, and there is a taxi waiting outside. Hughie sees his reflection in the mirror, and he has a bloody goatee. Starlight says she thinks she might have some kind of timing issue. I mean, come on now. I realize we as an entertainment viewer, we have to suspend our disbelief at times, but how does one not notice this? I mean, did he not taste or see it? The fuck? The taxi ride may have been a little uncomfortable for Hughie, as MM and Butcher are desperately trying to hold back their laughter. Starlight leaves Hughie's apartment, and we see Blarney Cock stumbling up to Hughie's place and breaking in. Hughie rushes back to his apartment because he forgot his phone, telling the gang to go on without him, and he will catch the train. The doorman is of no help, as he is too captivated on what is on the pages of his magazine. See that crazy motherfucker? Motherfucker is crazy, as he doesn't even lift his eyes from his magazine. Hughie runs into Blarney Cock in his apartment with his pants down standing over the hamster cage. Blarney points at Hughie, saying, "You killed me." Hughie, shocked, says he is sorry. And Hughie is genuinely sorry. Then Blarney starts pissing on the floor. Hughie fetches a pot to catch the piss, and Blarney wants his hamster back. We turn to Starlight, who is again embarrassed about having her period all over Hughie's face, telling herself that she will probably never see him again. A-Train berates her about missing the meeting. Starlight sticks up for herself and refers to A-Train as Needle Dick. A-Train is taken aback. Maeve jokes that she would know. Starlight is delighted with herself at first, but then is disappointed, remarking that she doesn't want to be like them. We turn back to Hughie and Blarney. Blarney is attempting to forcibly take the hamster, named Jamie. Hughie says no, remarking how Blarney used to keep the hamster up his ass, and that is animal cruelty, to say the least. Hughie is straight up pissed. Blarney lunges at Hughie and a fight ensues. Blarney all of a sudden starts levitating and then drops to the floor with his limbs bending the wrong way and shit. Hughie accidentally puts his hand in the piss and Blarney is dead. Again. Hughie goes back to the boys' headquarters and tacitly asks the boys how they would get rid of a dead body. Butcher says he would stuff the body in an oil drum and set it on fire. The Deep appears outside the boys' headquarters window. The Deep can fly, I suppose. He tells Butcher that Homelander knows he informed the White House of the VP's visit and his intended speech. Deep then asks Butcher if he knows what he was doing and if the truce still holds. Butcher blows him off, saying that if Homelander really wanted to know, he would have come back himself instead of sending a tit like you. Hughie goes back to his apartment to dispose of Blarney and accidentally drops him off the fire escape. Ends up stuffing him into a barrel and sets it on fire. Butcher surprises Hughie right as he throws the match in. Bit close, Hughie. Told ya. Hughie proceeds to say his last words to Blarney, saying that he is sorry. Butcher lets Hughie know that he knows Hughie went to see the legend to find out more about the boys. So to wrap this up, Hughie completes his task of killing Blarney again that the legend gave to him. Frenchie and the female are getting closer together, and we learn that Butcher was the one who told the president about the VP's visit to Vought, and that there is some kind of truce between Butcher and Vought. And thanks for watching. This wraps up this video. Stay tuned for more.